If you are a man who has lived more than 60 years, I need you to stop what you are doing right now and really listen to what I am about to tell you. This matters more than you might think. Most people believe the biggest threats to a man your age are financial losses, serious illness, or the echo of loneliness in an empty home. Those are real concerns, but there is something far more dangerous that sneaks up quietly and catches even the wisest men off guard. It is the mistake of opening your door to the wrong person and watching them slowly chip away at the one treasure you spent decades earning: your peace of mind. I know that sounds harsh. Some of you might feel defensive hearing this, but please stay with me, because what we discuss today could save you from years of exhaustion and regret that you cannot get back. By the time a man reaches 60, life is no longer about proving how strong or successful you are. Those battles are behind you. You have collected your victories and learned from your defeats. You understand now what truly holds value. At this stage, your most precious possessions are not sitting in any bank account. They are the quiet contentment in your chest, the strength in your body, the freedom in your schedule, and the hours that belong only to you. You want to wake up knowing the day ahead is yours to shape. Yet so many men gamble all of this away the moment they invite a new romantic relationship into their world, believing a girlfriend will automatically deliver happiness, when sometimes she delivers nothing but weight you were not prepared to carry. Let me explain why your heart feels heavy sometimes. The first reason you need to be extremely cautious is that managing another person's emotions becomes incredibly difficult as you grow older. When you were in your 20s or 30s, you had energy to burn. You could survive arguments that stretched past midnight. You could tolerate a partner who changed her mind like the weather or needed constant reassurance. You had the stamina for drama and complexity. But after 60, both your body and your patience have changed. The list of things that matter to you has been cut down to what is essential. You simply do not have the bandwidth for unnecessary stress anymore. Your energy is like a phone battery that no longer holds a charge the way it used to, and you cannot afford to drain it on things that bring no joy. After spending decades working long hours, paying mortgages, raising children, and solving everyone else's problems, you finally reach a point where simplicity becomes sacred. You want to sip your morning coffee in silence. You want predictable, calm days. You want a companion who makes life feel lighter, not like an endless emotional puzzle you have to solve before breakfast. Unfortunately, that is not always what happens. Sometimes a girlfriend arrives with a suitcase full of emotional labor. You find yourself constantly managing her moods, walking on eggshells to avoid upsetting her, spending your evenings soothing her anxieties instead of enjoying your book or your hobby. Little by little, the relationship begins consuming energy you should be investing in your own health and happiness. At first, it feels wonderful to have someone interested in you again. The attention is intoxicating, but then the expectations start piling up. If you want a few hours alone, she takes it personally. If you want to do things your way, you have to justify yourself repeatedly. When keeping the peace requires this much work, the relationship stops being a blessing and becomes another job you never applied for. Now let me talk about something uncomfortable but necessary: your financial security. This is not about being cheap or selfish. This is about understanding that money after 60 operates under completely different rules than money at 30. When you are young and you make a financial mistake or spend too much on the wrong person, you can recover. You work extra hours, you hustle harder, you rebuild. Time is on your side. But after 60, for most men, the money you have is the money you will have for the rest of your life. It needs to cover medical expenses, housing, independence, and dignity. You need that cushion so you never become a burden or lose control of your choices. The danger does not announce itself with sirens. It creeps in through small gestures. A nice dinner here, a weekend trip there, a thoughtful gift for her birthday. Maybe she mentions a problem and you help because that is who you are. None of these feel significant in the moment. But gradually, these small expenditures become the baseline. She begins expecting you to cover everything. You start spending money just to avoid conflict or keep her satisfied. Some men even use their wallet as a shield against complaints, buying temporary peace they cannot actually afford. This becomes especially dangerous when loneliness clouds your judgment. A man afraid of being alone might agree to things he knows are unwise, ignoring the warning signs that his savings are shrinking because the companionship feels good right now. But here is the truth. The sting of a breakup fades with time, but the money you lose might never return. That money represents your independence and your safety net. Then there is freedom, which might be the most valuable thing you own. The third reason so many older men regret getting involved too quickly is that they surrender control over their own time without realizing it. This happens so gradually you barely notice. It is like watching the sun set. One moment there is light, then suddenly it is dark. Before you had a girlfriend, your day was entirely yours. You could wake whenever you wanted, eat what you pleased, spend the afternoon fishing or tinkering in the garage without explaining yourself to anyone. This freedom is a hard-earned reward that only comes after decades of obligations. But relationships come with terms and conditions. You must coordinate schedules, consider her preferences, think about what she wants to eat and where she wants to go and how she is feeling. Even when you care deeply for her, this requires energy. After a lifetime of answering to employers, caring for children, and meeting expectations, you finally earned the right to live on your own terms. Giving that up is an enormous sacrifice. It is strange how some men pursue a girlfriend thinking she will make them happier, only to realize later they were actually more content when they could sit in the yard undisturbed. Freedom is not about isolation or selfishness. It is about living at your own pace. When someone constantly disrupts your rhythm, frustration builds. You start missing the version of yourself who did not need permission to enjoy his own life. One of the cruelest tricks your mind can play is confusing attention with respect. These might look similar on the surface, but they are worlds apart. When a woman shows strong interest in you, especially after you have been alone for a while, it feels incredible. Maybe you went through a divorce or lost your wife. Maybe you felt invisible once you retired. When someone calls you handsome, wants your company, makes you feel noticed again, it awakens something you thought was gone. But you must be careful. Attention is cheap and easy to manufacture. Someone can shower you with it today and withdraw it tomorrow. Respect is different. Respect means she values your boundaries, honors your time, listens when you say no, and treats the life you built with genuine care. Many men are so starved for attention that they forget to check for respect. They tolerate poor treatment or ignored boundaries because they enjoy feeling wanted. They overlook red flags, making excuses for behavior they would never accept from anyone else. If a relationship costs you your peace, the attention is not worth the price. The strongest men understand you should only keep people close who respect who you have become, not just those who provide temporary excitement. Before we continue, I want you to really sit with this. These conversations are not comfortable, but they can protect you from tremendous heartache down the road. We also need to talk about loneliness, because it is one of the most powerful forces that drives poor decisions. Loneliness is tricky because it wears disguises. Sometimes it looks like boredom. Sometimes it feels like empty rooms that suddenly seem too large. It often strikes hardest right after retirement, when the structure and purpose that work provided vanish overnight. When this happens, a man might think a girlfriend will cure what ails him. But a girlfriend is not a solution to an empty life. If you lack purpose or passion before she arrives, a relationship will only mask that emptiness temporarily. Eventually, the hollow feeling returns, except now, you also have relationship complications layered on top. You might begin expecting her to be your sole source of joy and meaning, which is unfair to both of you and destined to fail. The happiest men over 60 do something smarter. They build lives they genuinely love first. They cultivate hobbies, join groups, take walks, learn new skills, reconnect with old friends. They fill their days with activities that excite them, so they do not need anyone else to complete the picture. When your life is already satisfying, you become selective about who you allow in. You only make space for people who enhance what is already good, not for someone to rescue you from loneliness. A relationship should be a choice made from strength, not a life raft grabbed in desperation. When you no longer need someone to save you, you finally attract the right kind of person. Tell me in the comments, do you think finding a girlfriend after 60 brings more joy or more trouble? Your wisdom could help another man make a better choice.